Alright, so the first hellebore that I found that was on my list is Flower Girl. Beautiful double petals. Notice the rose bloom, and then the back of it is also gorgeous as well. It's budded up, so I have a lot more blooms. And then we have Winter Jewels painted double. All right, and then we have Ice and Roses Red. You guys, look at that, beautiful, and it's literally buds everywhere. And this is a Monrovia find. So these are the tulips and the daffodils that I forced inside. So I planted these up back in September. I had them up underneath a grow light. So I went out of town, came back, and seen how much they had progressed from the time that I left. I went ahead and pulled them out last night, set them right here. We have a beautiful amaryllis arrangement that I did for Valentine's Day. And so you guys, I just love to keep things in bloom in my home. Once the amaryllis bulbs in the front, after they go over, then the ones that are in the back, like this is a good example, then I'll just go ahead and flop those around. Those align more with the spring colors. Not saying that white is not a spring color, because by all means, honey, what would spring be without white? I'll flip those around, but then those will become the back story, and these will be the first story here. Back to the tulips and daffodils, let's go ahead and get these out. Here are the last two plants that I need to pick up right here. So I have my daffodils. I also have my tulips here. And so with the daffodils, these ones were kind of like shrouded back. So they were not getting as much light as the other daffodils and tulips were. And then this tulip right here, actually the stage where I wanted to pull the other ones out. So I just kind of have them up underneath the grow light for right now. And that way they can kind of catch up with the other ones. But I'm okay. They have put on a bit more color than what they had, because I kind of got them just on like right up underneath the light. So they have sped it up, because yesterday like these were all green like this one right here. So let's go ahead and get these out. Alright, so now that we have our container that we're going to be using, and more than likely I'll have enough plants left over that I can go ahead and add a second container. But this is a pretty big container right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and line this up. And I love to use these moss containers, you guys, especially in the winter time. They make for a great conversation piece. Now that I have my bag in there, I'm going to go ahead and get some soil in there. Alright, so it's not going to cut, so let me go ahead and switch scissors. Alright, so hopefully these scissors will work. They are working like a charm. So I'm just going to trim this off. Everything trimmed. So we're going to start working our plants in. What do you think? So is going to be going in an area where you can see this arrangement from all sides. So what I did when I was planting this up, I made sure I went in and literally what you see in the front, if we swap this around, is exactly what you guys see in the back. So what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and just show you guys how I'm going to get this planted up. Now, more than likely, I'll be working well into the night, and if I cannot get everything done, I'll post to the community page what our outcome is if we have a break in the rain, because it is supposed to rain tomorrow. I'm sick of the rain, but we need the rain. But anyways, let's go ahead and let me show you guys these beautiful plants that I have. I really love this container. So in this container, I went in and I used just some real simple, easy to find components. I used a beautiful pink ranunculus in the middle, and then I also used a white pansy with a little hint of yellow. Then I went in on the side and did a saxifrage. Now when you look at this at first glance, it kind of gives more of a red undertone, and that's fine because in this area over here in the springtime, we have some tulips that are planted up, and last year we had an amazing show. So this container was planted out and pre-planned. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome, welcome. Go ahead, click the subscription button. We would love for you to join us. Ended up working late into the night last night. We got one of the containers done. I do have one more container that I want to get planted up. I also want to go in and I want to get all of these hydrangeas pruned out. Since I'm already out here, we've had a break in the weather. I also would like to get my fountain going. So let's go ahead and start pruning these hydrangeas. All of the hydrangea standards are pruned up in this area. up some beautiful containers for our front porch or front entryway. You guys, I have to start planting some of these beautiful flowers that I have here just hiding out in my sunroom because I'm running out of space and I have a truckload full that I need to also get inside of this room as well. It is windy outside, so I hope you guys are going to be able to hear. Now, in the front of my garden, I have a beautiful pink crabapple tree, you guys. It gives the most amazing color in the springtime, and I'm so excited. So that should be bursting open like within the next 2 weeks. So I definitely don't want my crabapple tree to be the only thing in bloom in my front garden. Let's get all of our plants from in the sunroom in here that's been acting as a mini, plant nursery or greenhouse rather. And then we'll meet outside in the front, starting with this beautiful flat of pansies. Beautiful ranunculus here. Then we have some beautiful pansies. You guys, look at this. Isn't this sweet? Isn't this cute? But it's so pretty because I just can't wait till everything comes out of blooms, and it's like buds all over the ranunculus, you guys. We are getting ready to go all out for our front entryway. We're going to have to make our display here in the front extra special. Love to have a beautiful floral display. Now, you guys have seen some of the floral displays that I've put on in my back garden, but now it's time to bring that same energy to the front of the garden. I have an assortment of pots over here to my right, your left, and then I have an assortment of plants over here to my left. So let me show you guys the pots that we have. Now, I may add to, I may take away, but for the most part, these are the pots that we're going to be using. Over here, let's go ahead and let's look at these beautiful plants that we're going to be using. So come on, you guys. We have a beautiful selection of plants, you guys, and all of that is going to go up here to our front garden area. And I want those containers to come grouped in this area, you guys. And I really want, when you come up to the front entryway, I want you to be hit with flower power, you guys. I am literally talking about like packing this area full. And you guys, I might end up adding, I know me, I know, you guys know me, I know I'm going to end up adding more plants to the selection that I have here. But what I want to do first, let's go ahead and let's move the containers in the area. Now we're going to go ahead and start planting. So here is our ensemble here. You guys, look at that. Isn't that just cute? You guys, I found one of the ones on my list. Honey, look at it. Yes, honey. Look at that. Look at that. Hold on. I am totally obsessed with Hellebores. And now that I have a area in my garden that I can plant Hellebores in, and I don't have to worry about giving Hellebores away, baby, they're gonna be sick of me in Hellebores, honey. Yes, honey. So let's go ahead and let me show you guys. Well, first of all, full confession, you guys, I literally have so many plants inside of my sunroom waiting to just be planted. Now, full disclosure, It's looking nice right now, but in the St. Louis region, I've been looking at the 10-day. The 10-day looks pretty good. But you can't trust that because, you guys, we have had snow here in April, like on Easter. It has literally went in and snowed on Easter. But that's not going to stop my show. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get the Hellebores in the window. And baby, when I tell you this display on my patio. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's start planting up the window box. Because baby, it is on and popping like spring is here. Like spring is here. Whether or not we get snow or whatever, spring is here. So I have all of my Hellebore in there and I like it. I love it, but I feel like I'm missing something down on this end right here. Now, I do have another Hellebore, but the thing with the Hellebore, they have some pretty gnarly roots, and they really don't like for their roots to be disturbed. So, example, if we get this plant can off, sometimes it take a bit much to get the can off of a Hellebore. If we get this plant can off, and Hellebores are some of the worst plants to get the can off of them. But if we get this off, OMG. Alright, so let's see. I got my gloves on now. Whew. Okay, so I finally got the plant can off. But you guys, look at this root system. Look at that. So, with the Hellebores, and it's all like wrapped around the can, but you really don't want to disrupt the root system too much. What will happen is when I end up planting them in their spot, making sure they're comfortable, that's when I'll go in and kind of just splice these up a little bit. And then then they'll be able to go ahead and just move on into the surface real well. But I am going to try to go in and get this other Hellebore down here on this edge because there's a space. Do you guys see this right here? So I want it to be really full. So let's try to go ahead and get this in on this end right here. Okay, I'm going to have to do a little bit of rearranging. So, I'm going to have to scoot this one either over here. So, let's see. Alright. Alright, there we go. So, now this actually looks a lot better. Since this Hellebore is a lot fuller than the one that's in the window now, I am going to go ahead and switch these two out. That way my window box can be fuller, and then we'll go ahead and add the rest of the plants in. All right, so it looks a lot better now. Looks more even, more full. So now we have to adorn some plants on the front, so let's go ahead and do that. So I have these beautiful Dusty Miller. You guys, I'm obsessed with Dusty Miller and every single variety that it comes in. But what I like most about this, if you look at the canopy over here, the bottom of the canopy is very heavy with green. So I'm going to want something that's going to contrast, and so you can see the juxtaposition from the different foliages. So let's pop these in, and then we'll go to our next layer. Our violas here, we have our Dusty Miller, we have our Hellebores. Now, in order to give it that pop, because I really want my window box to show up, look beautiful, give you remnants of spring, but I also want to kind of mute it as well, because I'm going to have quite a bit going on in the understory here, and I don't want it to be too much. So I have to forfeit a big huge show on my window box, because I'm going to have so much. I don't want to tell too much of what's going to go on. So let me go back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to add some more plants here. We're going to come in with the same light blue matrix pansy. I always call it a blue matrix, a true blue matrix pansy, but it's a matrix light blue pansy. Now, if you guys remember these, I use these in the beautiful box over here. Let's go ahead and finish popping everything in, because we are losing light. Let's start with the biggest size, get that one first, and then we'll go ahead and get everything lined up the way we want it to be. We've soaked our Hellebores. Anything that does not stand up, you want to go in, you want to look at the plant, and you want to see if the bloom has been compromised. So let's get in close and I'll show you what I mean by that. This was one of the beautiful Hellebores that I showed you guys. So as you guys can see, it's been rehydrated, everything is standing up. But if you get in and you look closely into, look up underneath the umbrella. Let's get in the umbrella. Let's look at that. It's compromised. We get down in here and we make a cut. Okay, so I cut that off, right? Also, this leaf here is not looking very attractive. This one right here, we're going to also cut this out too, right? Anything that's not looking attractive, cut it off. You're left with a nice specimen. Go around. Here's one more. You just go ahead and you cut it on off. Cut it down all the way to the base. Here's one more that's not looking attractive. So we're going to cut it all the way down to the base. And now we're left with a pretty good specimen. Now this one right here, you can kind of see where it's a little wear and tear on the stem from it being bent over. You have to look at it like this. This is no different than if you had this already planted up in a container and you went in to do maintenance on your containers, because some of our containers that we plant up are one and done, but some of our containers you have to baby them along the way, you have to do maintenance on them, but it just comes with the territory. So if this tip was helpful for you, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, because we have a lot of more content coming just like this. Are all planted up, but what I want to do is I want to go in and I want to add a little bit of color. But first I'm going to go ahead and clean off my table here, because there's no way I'm going to plant up this beautiful wall of Hellebores and then not put anything on my table. So let's go ahead and let's get this table cleared out. Now I like to save my plant cans so I can use them and kind of keep down on, you know, throwing plastics and things like that away, especially with the plant cans, because all you have to do is really just go in and wash them out. So let's go ahead and let's clean off the table. Now it is starting to rain, baby. Can I get through anything without the rain, please? right, so these are the pots that I want to get planted up. Grab the plants that we're going to be using. We're getting ready to plant up some beautiful containers. So come on, let me show you what containers we're going to be planting up. So what I want to do now is I want to go ahead and grab the rest of my plants that I'm going to be using over here in this area. Have all of my plants. Let's go ahead and plant up this container. I want to go over the components that I used in this container. They're very simple, very easy to find. So I started off with a topiary, and I like having poodles because it adds structure to the area. And then also it complements the planting in the front, so it draws your eye back. It more so invites you into the garden area, into the space, to find out what is going on. That way your guests know that you have a welcoming place and that you didn't just go hodgepodge and everything was thought out. So we started out with a evergreen topiary here. We have a lobularia, then we have another Supertunia, a verbena, and then around the base of it, I wanted it to look like a big, large bouquet of flowers. So I went in with some African daisies or a osteospermum, and that completes the look. Now, you guys may be thinking, why am I planting up summer plants in the early spring? Now, you guys, Supertunias can take a little bit of cold, and the osteospermum, they really thrive in the springtime. They will go on a little bit of a lull during the summertime, and then when the fall comes, they'll just start blooming again. You guys, these are one of my go-to plants. I just love them, and I always feature some type of petunia, whether it's a Monrovia Super Cow or whether it's a Proven Winners Supertunia. So those are a must for me every year in my garden, and they really perform. If you enjoyed this content, if you want to see more content like this, go ahead, subscribe. All right, now I got to clean up my mess. I mean, plant cans everywhere. That's a wrap. We're going to go ahead and get our tulips in containers in their place. Now, I wanted to show you guys how these tulips over here are starting to look since we uncovered them. Some of the necks were kind of bent to the shape. I wasn't really worried about it. I got a few inboxes about it, and thank you guys for checking on them, because I know that sometimes we're all going through different things in our garden journey, and what I may be experiencing in my garden may help you in your garden. But I want to show you guys first what these tulips look like, and then we'll go ahead and get the containers in their place. So come on, you guys, let's get to it. Guys can see the tulips are now standing up, and that was what I expected from them. So I am very excited with my beautiful collection of tulips over here, and it really just brightens this area up. I just love to come out, sit out here, drink coffee, and just glance over every blue moon. But let's go ahead and get the tulips that we're going to be putting in containers in their place. So right here along this fence line is where I want to go in, and I want to put my collection of tulips. But first, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and rake everything up. ahead and I'm going to plant up the 2 concrete urns that flank that area. And as I'm back there planting, I'll get this planted up the way I want it to be, and then I'll go ahead and decide if the planter will be able to stay. So these are the concrete urns that I want to get planted up in this video. So you guys, let's go ahead and let's get these babies planted up, and then we'll talk about the plant selection, and then we'll move on, and then we'll take a look at this container. Have both of the urns planted up, and they look really good. The look is very cohesive with the rest of this area over here. But I want to make sure that my container that sits on my table doesn't look like a 1-up. So in order to do that, I have to make sure my colors are in harmony. And what we're going to do is we're going to just make a simple tweak to this container, and it's not going to take much to do it. Now, I do have some plants over there on the table because, like I said, I had been going back and forth with if this container was going to be able to work in this area, and the more I looked at it, the more I knew that this would not work. But I also knew that it would look great in another area of my garden, according to how I have everything planned out in order to be planted this season. Now, let's go ahead, run over, grab these plants, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what we're going to switch everything out for. You guys, look at this beauty here, and how beautiful this looks. So, what we're going to do is we're going to use a Shasta daisy. We're going to pop the geranium out. By us going in with the Shasta daisy, what it's going to do is it's going to give the container a more of a cohesive look, and I think it's going to look better. So let's get in, and then maybe you guys will be able to see how bright this color looks now that it's out in the sunlight. So even though when I picked it up at the garden center, it looked like it would be a perfect fit for this area over here, when you're looking at colors, it's all about how does that color play into your garden, where you're going to have it setting at. And we're not trying to create an illusion here. We want everything to look just as it is. We want it to look beautiful. We want it to look gorgeous. But you guys can see clearly this stands out against the other colors here. Now, if I was looking for a great contrast, that would be perfect, but I want this area to come together in complete 100% harmony. Getting ready to plant up a beautiful shade container, you guys. We're not throwing shade, we're literally just planting up some beautiful plants for the shade. The good thing about this container is these ingredients for this container can be sourced anywhere, whether it's your local garden center or even your big box stores like Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, Menards, or Menards, as some of my friends say. And you guys, when we get done, you guys are going to love this beautiful floral arrangement. Now, this is the container that we're going to be using. So let's go ahead and get this container unraveled, you guys. All right, so we're going to be using this beautiful gray terracotta pot, you guys. I'm so obsessed with gray terracotta this season, you guys. I am obsessed with it. Do you hear me? Hold on, wait, let me say it again. You guys, look at this beautiful terracotta pot, okay? I love the color variation in it. You guys, look how deep this bowl is. And so that means for us, we can fit a ton of plants in there. And you guys, if you're new to my channel, I love, love, love to container garden. But what I love even more than container garden, well, I guess it's one and the same, is I love to stuff these babies full. So that way, when they start to grow out, let's say I love to healthily stuff them, so that way when they start to grow out, everything just fills in so beautiful, and you also get instant gratification. Let's get some soil in this baby. And we also have a saucer to go underneath. Now, before we get the soil in there, one of the things that I like to do is I go in and I use a little piece of screen. You can use a smaller chicken wire. And what that does is it allows for your water to go through. And it doesn't put you in a situation like if you're using crocks like from terracotta or broken terracotta pieces. Sometimes, although they facilitate drainage, depending on the size crock, if you're only using one and not, you know, building it up correctly, sometimes it can create where your drainage is not that well. So by you using the screen piece, it sets down, and then we're also going to go in to just give us a little bit of added protection. We're also going to use a coffee filter. Now, for my containers that are more so long term, I will use screen. I start them off using the coffee filter, and that way it just makes sure we keep the soil on the inside until it gets a chance to kind of conform to the pot. And even though it's conformed to the pot, we still have good drainage. You guys, I've been container gardening for years, baby, so I got a few tips and tricks to share with you. All right, so you see how wide this hole is right here? So we're just gonna put that in there, and then we come in with our coffee filter, you guys, and we're just literally going on top of that for a little bit of added protection. All right, so we have our soil in there, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add a little bit of slow release fertilizer in there, okay, you guys? All right, you guys, so I think I'm going to swap position. So I'm going to put my plants here, and we're going to move the container right here, okay? So that way it'll be easier for you guys to see the angles. Now, I have my caladium in the middle here. Now I'm going to go in with my second plant. It's my fern here. Okay, you guys, now check this out. Now, I am a little bit behind in my plantings for my containers, but I am going to throw a little bit of blue in there. And you guys, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to pop some beautiful pansies in there. Now, granted, all of the plants that I'm using get large. They're going to fill in and they're going to be large, but I'm looking for instant impact now. So I don't have to disrupt my color palette. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in with a blue pansy, you guys. And by me coming in with the blue pansy, it's going to give us instant impact, and it's also going to give us a twofer. Now, if you guys are new to my channel, I do what I like to call twofer. So you start off getting one look, and then as the plants grow in, you end up getting a second look. So you get two looks out of the same container. One plant phases out and the other plant takes over with this beautiful vigorous growth. So let's pop these pansies in here. So we're going to turn this around right here. We're going to come in here and we're going to place our pansy, and that's also going to give us a little bit of a drape, you guys. Now, as you guys can see as we turn it around, because you're going to be able to see this arrangement from all sides of the table. You're going to be able to see it from different angles in the garden. To make sure that when you're seeing this arrangement from the various angles, I want to make sure you can actually just see the the colors popping. So let's go over these plants that we use, and then we're going to get this baby in its place. Okay, so you guys, we use the beautiful caladium. Now, you guys, they have caladiums for sun, they have caladiums for part shade, and they also have caladiums for full shade. So this again is what I said, that you guys are going to be able to actually take this arrangement here, and you're going to be able to use this arrangement in the full shade. You're going to be able to use this arrangement in the full sun or part shade. So it's really fitting for any garden out there, you guys. Can you guys imagine a month from now or 2 months from now, once this beautiful arrangement starts to just fill in, you have more of the caladium that's showing, the begonia starts to fill out, and it's just giving everything. At that point, by then, our pansies have then fizzled away. So they're a non-factor. But everywhere you see a pansy, we're going to have beautiful growth from our begonias, you guys. I'm just so excited. And one thing about when you use blues, greens, yellows, silver, you guys, they almost illuminate at night. So we have our beautiful caladiums here. Then we come in with our begonia. Then we have our fern. Now, before you say there is no fern that's full sun, there actually is, because you guys, I planted it up last year in my garden. It gave the full entire season, and it was beautiful. It came out of the plant can looking luxurious. So you guys, go in with a fern, and then I just put in a pansy. Now, I have a pansy here right now, but let's say if you're doing this for a full sun arrangement, you can easily go in and you could put in a Supertunia, you could put in a Super Bell, you could put in so many different alternatives. You could put in a Lobularia. There are so many different things that you guys can use for this container. And you guys, you can do this container on the cheap. It's going to be beautiful. And when your friends come over, your good girlfriends or good guy friends come over to have tea, they're going to love it. And everybody is going to want to know, what did you use in this container recipe, you guys? And here it is right here for you. Now, let's get this beauty in its place. I'm going to be planting up the window box and the concrete urns to sit on my patio. I still have my Hellebore plants in there that were from the spring plantings, but I'm ready to transition my garden over from this look into what it's going to be wearing for spring. Now, I am going to go in, I'm going to remove all of the plants. I wish I had a remote that I could just easily just flip from season to season, you know, because it's very fun to put all of these things together, and then you enjoy them, and then as the season starts to turn, your garden starts to transition, then all of a sudden you have to go in, remove everything. But if we just had that magic remote, whoo, wait a minute. Let's see if this thing works. if this will work on the concrete urns, you guys. Ah! So I guess this remote does work after all. Now that we have everything cleaned out, what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to start planting everything up. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to start with planting up my concrete urns first. So let's go ahead and start with those first. Remote came in handy. That we have the concrete urns planted up, the only thing we have yet to focus on is our window box. So it is starting to get a little bit dark. We'll come back in the morning time and we'll talk about this box. Now it is a little bit dirty here from the plant debris. We get started, I want to get in and show you guys this window box here, because oftentimes, you know, when you're looking at something through the lens of the camera, you know, you don't actually see the details. I did not show the installation of the window box. So oftentimes people say, oh, you need to brace your window box. So let's get in and let me show you what it looks like. So we have 3 brackets here. Matter of fact, come on so I can show you guys too, so to help put things into perspective. With the window box, you have a bracket here, you have a bracket here, and then you also have a bracket right here. Look underneath, there is a bracket there, there is a bracket there, and there is also a bracket right there on the end. 3 brackets is what keeps the window box at bay, and it supports all of the way in the window box. Now it looks maybe that it's not supported, but that's the beauty of this window box, you guys. Now I got this window box from Sherwood's Forest Nursery over in St. Louis, and you guys, when I tell you this window box have not disappointed, it has not disappointed. So let's go ahead and start popping the plants inside of this beautiful window box. I'm going to add a scoop real quick. This beautiful dahlia right here, it looks very beautiful, and actually now that I'm looking at this, let's swap these around here, because I really want my tallest one to be in my center. And okay, so I want my biggest and my fluffiest one to be in the center, and I'll go in and I'll adjust those as well. But you guys, this dahlia is very beautiful, but I need a more heavier weighted piece. So what I'm going to do, because I have a flat of these dahlias here, these dahlias, that one back in this plant can, and I'm going to swap it out for a different type of dahlia. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in and I am going to look for where I have a cross section at, right? And I'm going to go in and I'm going to just cut. Now, you want to be careful because you don't want to cut the tubers. Let's break this open. Right? Okay, so now we've got one plant right here. Right? If we look at our dahlia right here, right? If we look at this, it's beautiful. The colors are vibrant. It's giving everything that we want our summer to be, right? But it is not giving us the impact that we need. Example, we pop this out of the plant can, right? We come back up to the window here. We put this in. It's not giving nothing, honey. It's not even giving us Thanksgiving dinner, honey. It's not even giving us brunch. We don't want that, honey. We want a steak sandwich with all the helpings on the side. I mean, loaded mashed potatoes and that good bread that come with it when you go to the steakhouse. That's what we want our window box to give. We want it to just be over the top, just extra for no reason. Now y'all know me. You guys know me. You guys, okay, so let me tell you something. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. If this is your first time clicking on Garden Queen over here, I want to welcome you first and foremost. But be prepared for every time that a video drops and it has something to do with a container, baby, we are going to take it over the top. If it has something to do with a planting, we're going over the top, okay? Now, I'm not done yet. It's cute. It's cute, but it's not giving what we needed to give right now, okay? So why stop? Guys, welcome back to my garden. In today's video, I have a few things that I like to do. We're going to make a quick run to Lowe's Garden Center, and we're also going to be planting up these beautiful containers over here in this area. So come on, you guys, let's get to it. The car that I need to take is blocked in, so we're just gonna have to roll with it. Come on, you guys, let's go shop. So I'm getting gas and it tells me that my limit has been reached. My tank is not even full yet. This is crazy. How can my limit be reached? Gas has the nerve to be $5.84 a gallon. This is insane. just made it back from Lowe's. Let's go ahead, head over, and let's get these babies planted up. No games today, because we're going to be doing an interlude from our summer display, and we're going to ease right onto our fall display. We're going to be using some of those non-traditional colors. We are going to rework the window box. If you're new to my channel, welcome. But if you've been following my videos for some time, then it's no secret that we have an issue with the window box in particular being taken over by birds. It turns into a bird nursery. Same things with a lot of our different trees and shrubs, which that's the natural nature of birds. But here on my patio, we have this bird that just refuses to leave. You would think that this is their house because it has literally occupied the window box since shortly after planting. So there was some babies that were hatched in there, so we forfeited watering. And I'm going to turn the camera around and I'm going to show you guys what this window box looked like in just a second, but I want to give you guys a little bit of the backstory. Since we had those little baby birds that were inside of the window box, I forfeited watering my window box, I forfeited fertilizing my window box, and I just said, you know what, whatever makes it, makes it. So now we're to the point where the baby birds have hatched. They're no longer in the window box. So I'm coming to reclaim my window box and get it transitioned from our summer show into the fall show. The one thing about this situation in this scenario is that I was so excited because one of the things that I love to do is I love to take cuttings from my containers and actually use them as cut flowers in my home if I feel like I have a space that needs to be dolled up. Let's say if I invite you over for coffee or tea, or we're just sitting here and we're just talking. You know how it is when one of your good girlfriends stop by, or that wonderful family member that you just so love. So you know, they give you a little call and tell you that they're on their way. I'll hop out and I will, you know, take some cuttings from my containers. But in this scenario, I was not able to do such because, again, I had to abandon my window box. It wasn't looking too bad. If you got up close to it, you could kind of tell that it was shabby. But with this bird, it's very territorial. Yes. So, and not only is it territorial, it's also comfortable because I can be sitting right here on my patio, working from my computer, taking a Zoom call, and you guys, it will literally just land right into there versus standing on top of a ledge looking at me like, look, I'm coming in, you need to move. It has literally gotten that comfortable to where it just flies into the window box. There has been times when I have walked up to the window box to do, you know, some maintenance, and it just flies out at you. So since we're gonna go in, we have to go in to plant it up. We need to be prepared. So wait 1 second. Ah! Baby, I ain't come to play no games today. I did not come to play any games with the people or the birds. Do you hear what I'm saying? So we are getting ready to go in. We are getting ready to plant up this window box. Now, I know it's not any babies in there because I have not heard them singing and chirping. So we're free on that front. It's just the mother bird or the father bird or a new bird, whoever it is in the window box. I got to plant mine up. I got to plant my window box up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to check the scene out, baby. Let's check the window box. You headed in? You guys got my back? Let me know down in the comment box, baby, if you got my back, because we about to go in. So it seems like nobody's home, but I don't trust it, you guys, because I'm telling you, like, this bird is not afraid. Just to be on the safe side, because I'm going to be up close, I'm going to just put a little bit of water, because that's normally how I know, like, it's sitting there. So I'll start with just putting a little bit in there, and because it's a window box, it's going to flow down and it'll just fly out. So did y'all see it fly out? Drop down in the comment box and let me know. Let me know if it's in there. So y'all seen it yourself. Y'all seen it yourself, baby. You see how it came on up out of there? It just came out. So that's what I'm saying. So what I'm going to do, I don't care about it living in there because it's no babies in there for right now. So this is what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. We're going to transition that window box. And that should take me until I get ready to plant it up again. So I have a beautiful flat of mums here. Now, because I'm making sure I protect myself, I am going to keep this on. Easy transition, you guys. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to start to add those fall colors, the beautiful yellows, the beautiful oranges. But because we are still in the summertime, we're going with those lighter hues of fall. So the pinks and the yellows, the soft oranges. We are going to transition this garden, you guys. I'm so excited. All right, let's get to it. Coming in and making those subtle changes to your window boxes that you currently have in, or your containers, can take your look and elevate it. So if you use some perennials in your containers, and maybe the perennials that you used at first are not looking as beautiful as they were when you first planted them up. Let me move this flat here. You guys, isn't this adorable? I am notorious for taking perennials and popping them in containers while they're in bloom. This is an easy, cheap way to transition your show from the summertime right on into fall until you get ready to go all out for your fall display. Now for me, I love to go all out for fall. I need to stop saying that, because for me, I love to go all out in my garden. I love to be out in my garden. I enjoy spending time in my garden, you guys, and just coming in and just making those subtle changes. Now everything is refreshed. Now let's talk about what we did with the window box here. My mums, I have went in and I have selected mums that are more close to where you can just slightly start to see the bud that's yellow, the bud that's pink. And again, that is all by design, because if I have guests over, the first thing they're gonna say, you have your mums out already? Of course I do. Yes, girl, you know how I do it, honey. I got the mums out already. But then you can only imagine what it's gonna look like as these mums start to transition and open up, and it's going to be a beautiful show, because these mums, as they start to open up, will start to give us a little bit of growth, will start to get bigger here. Now, one of the things that I do want to do is at the bottom here, if we go in and we look at the Supertunia Vista bubblegum, a little bit of legginess here, where I want this all to come across like this. I'm going to come in and I want to just kind of level this out. By coming in here and just making that small transitional cut here, it's giving us a better show. Everything looks more tidy. Also, do you see how it kind of cuts off the lemon coral sedum, cuts off on this area here? What I can do is, now that I'll be fertilizing my window box, I can now go in and I can kind of shear the lemon coral sedum to give more of a appealing look versus a blunt look like it has right here. And it also has, actually it's more appealing on the other side, so which has to do with the sun and light exposure. We'll come in later on tonight and I'll go through and I will hit everything with BT. So my window box, which this window box has not been fertilized, it has not been treated all season, and it looks pretty good. It could be more robust. It can definitely be giving a lot more than what it's giving, but I decided to kind of forfeit my show, and that kind of comes with the territory. I will go in and hit these with a little bit of fertilizer, and when I fertilize my mums, because mums are heavy feeders, a lot of people do not realize, if you want a continuous show with your mums, if you want your mums to give a beautiful show, you have to give them the energy to bloom. You can get all of the blooms that's going to come with your mum, because if you look down at a mum, you guys see, let me make sure it's focused. Okay, if you guys get down in here, you can definitely see, and this one has a little bit of mold on it. And that's another thing, mums are prone to different funguses, but if you get down in here, you can see the layers of bloom. So in order to push all of these layers of bloom out, you want to make sure that you're going in and you are fertilizing your mums, so that way you can get a continuous show. Right here, I think I want to go in and just nip that off just a little bit to kind of shape it. Okay, so now it's not looking all weird right here, so it kind of gives it a more shorn look. I will go in and trim them a little bit more, but I really do like to get those evergreen specimens that keep to, you know, a shape that you don't necessarily have to go in and trim those, because with all of the work that you have to do in your garden, who wants to continue to have to come out and do things like shape that up?